Hey Resurrection Church family in the Gig Harbor, Port Orchard area. Drew coming to you from my office here in the church building in Tacoma. You know, by now you've probably heard several times that we are planning and we are praying about planting a Resurrection Church in Gig Harbor in the next year and a half or so. And I would imagine that many of you probably have a lot of questions about that. Well, what will that look like? Where will we meet? What does it mean to be part of the church plant? Why do we even need to plant another church? You know, all these questions you might have been thinking over the past several weeks or months, and we haven't really had a great opportunity to get together and talk about those things. So I wanted to let you know about a couple of opportunities that are coming up throughout this fall where hopefully we can talk about those questions and you might be able to get more clarity as you pray about and consider whether or not to be part of this church plant in Gig Harbor. And so the first thing I want to tell you about is we're going to be having two vision cast and prayer nights, one in October, one in November. Those dates are going to be in this email below. And the plan for these is they'll both be on Sunday evenings at 6 o'clock. We'll gather in a church building or some kind of space, meeting space somewhere in the city of Gig Harbor. And it'll be a time for us to dream about what the Lord might do through a church plant in Gig Harbor. You know, planting a new church is actually the best way to reach new people with the gospel. People that have never heard the gospel or never believed in Jesus before. It's the most effective form of evangelism. And we know from studies that about 3/4 of the people in Gig Harbor don't know Jesus. Only about 25% of people identify as Jesus followers, as believers. Can you imagine that? That means there's at least 45,000 people that don't know Jesus, and the best way for us to reach them is to plant a new church. And so we want to have a vision cast night where we dream and imagine what the Lord might do through us, through Resurrection Church in Gig Harbor, to make disciples who make disciples and to plant future churches as well. So that's the first thing. We'll have vision and prayer nights in October and in November. I definitely encourage you to come to both of those, but make it one for sure and invite someone else along that you think might like to hear about what we're doing as a church plant to those as well. Again, those dates are down below. The second thing is that you know, Sarah and I have been trying to get to know as many people as we can over this summer, and it's been just a really strange time to be doing that, and it's been hard to see a lot of people. And so I want to just make an opportunity a little bit more accessible, kind of a forum for us to get to know each other if we haven't gotten to do that already. So starting in the month of October, on Saturdays from 10 a.m. to noon-ish, I'm going to be having basically open office hours at the Cutters Point flagship store there off Olympic Drive in Gig Harbor. And so any Saturday from 10 to noon, I will be there. I'll be doing some work that I will happily set aside if somebody shows up and wants to talk. You know, we can just swap stories and get to know each other. You can come with questions that you have for me if that's something that you'd like to do. But really, that's just an open space for whoever would like to come have a place of fellowship, of bonding with Christians that you may or may not know as well yet, and really just getting to know each other so that as we continue down this path of planting a church, we're doing so from a place of strong relationship, that we're not just, randomly coming together because we live near each other, but we really want this to be a family that's seeking to reach our neighbors and even our biological family with the gospel. And so those are the two things I wanted to let you know about. Vision cast and prayer nights in October and November. Those dates are below. And every Saturday starting in October, so don't go this Saturday, but starting in October from 10 to noon at the Cutters Point flagship store. I'll be there, open office hours, anyone who would like to come and chat and get to know me. And I'd love to get to know you. So thank you so much for being part of the Resurrection Church family, for being a disciple who makes disciples. And even now, even before these Vision Cast gatherings, I would really encourage you, start praying. Use that time on the first day of each month where you maybe fast a meal and pray about, Lord, would you have us be part of this church plant? What role would you have me play in this church plant? And I think that as we do that and hear and discern where the Lord is calling each of us, it will be exciting to see how all of those individual callings come together to create this vision for the future of Resurrection Church Gig Harbor. I love you, church. We'll see you some Saturday or at one of those Vision Cast nights. Go make disciples.